Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about five important facts about your hair that you might not know that really make a big difference on the overall health of your hair. So, the first one that I want to discuss is salt. So, the actual chemical makeup or compound, whatever you want to call it, of salt is called sodium chloride. Salt is one of the worst things for your hair, and I'm going to tell you why. Salt is very drying, and I know you're probably thinking well, Tiffany, what about they make sea salt sprays and stuff for beachy, wavy hair? Yes, they do. And I'm not saying that they're totally bad. You can use them, just don't use them all the time, because what it's going to do is it's going to really dry your hair out. That's why they use salt to sometimes when they they'll pack meat in salt, and the reason that they do that is because the salt pulls the water molecules out of the meat and helps preserve it. So that just shows you it draws the water molecules out of the meat. So that does the same thing for your hair. It will draw the moisture out of your hair. So in essence, it's really drying out your hair. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are focused on sulfates and parabens and stuff like that, which are also not great for your hair. But salt, it's this secret enemy that a lot of people don't talk about. So I looked up a few common brands that you can run out and buy, and I'll show them to you right here, and you'll be, probably pretty surprised when you look at the ingredients. So take a look. Okay, so that's pretty shocking. If you actually spend some time in reading ingredients on a lot of shampoos, you'll see that sodium chloride is an ingredient in a lot of them, and it's actually drying out your hair. You want it, in a perfect world, you would like it to not be listed in the ingredients at all. But, if it is there, you want it more towards the bottom of the ingredient list. That means there's not very much in it. So that's a really helpful tip when you're buying shampoos, is to look at the ingredients, check them out, read them, check for that sodium chloride. You don't want it in there at all, or you want it at the bottom of the list. Super important. Okay, the second point I'm going to point out to you is ponytails. If you wear your hair in a ponytail or braids or even extensions can do this all the time, you can actually make yourself go bald. There is a condition, it's called traction alopecia, and what it is you're pulling on your hair follicles too tight over and over and over again, and this can actually damage your hair follicles to the point to where they actually your hair won't regrow. They'll be too far gone. You can, if you notice it, a lot of people get it in thinning around their hairline, but anywhere that your hair is getting pulled in the same spot constantly can cause this problem. If you catch it early, it can be reversed and your hair will regrow, but if it gets too far gone, that's just it. It's too far gone. You can't get it back. So, I've actually seen this one time in my professional career. It was a long time ago. We had a lady come into the salon, and she had about a quarter size bald spot on right at like the crown of her head. And we told her it was because she pulled her hair up all the time, and she wouldn't believe us. She kept going to the doctor and getting all these tests done, and they couldn't find anything wrong with her, medically. And here, it turned out that that's exactly what her problem was. She got her hair cut short, she quit pulling it up, and it eventually filled back in. But she was really lucky because it could have been too far gone, but she caught it early enough that she could reverse it. So the third point I'd like to point out to you is wet hair. You have to be careful with your hair when it's wet. It's like at its most fragile. Your hair has elasticity all the time, but when it's wet, it's extra stretchy, we'll say. The best way to describe it is when your hair is wet, it's stretchy, like this rubber band. So you really, really don't ever want to pull your hair up when it's wet, because what will happen is, let's say you pull your hair up when it's wet. On one end, it's connected to your scalp, and on the other end, it's connected to your hair tie. And the thing is, your hair is stretched when it's wet, and you pull it up so it's connected on both ends, by your scalp and by the hairband. When it starts to dry, your hair will try to shrink back down to its original size. But when it's being held at both ends, it can't shrink down because it's being held too tight. And what will happen is it'll just snap. It'll literally just go ping, 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 ping. And that's a reason that a lot of people see like these little short flyaway hairs around their hairline. If they're pulling their hair up when it's wet and it's stretching it, and then when it's drying it can't retract back, so it's just pinging apart. So that's so huge. If you're noticing breakage here, or a lot of people will get it underneath here, and you're pulling your hair up when it's wet, that's what it's coming from. Your hair is stretching and it's trying to retract back and it can't. So it's really important not to ever pull your hair up when it's wet. Another important fact, this is bringing me to my fourth one, is cool water and a cool shot like on your blow dryer. Heat opens, your hair has a cuticle on it. I'm going to use this as an example. And when heat makes that cuticle open up. So when you use, warm, hot, whatever, water in the shower, it opens up that hair cuticle, and that way the shampoo can get in and get all the, whatever it needs to cleanse, gets it all clean, everything rinses out. So what you really want to do is when you put your conditioner on, when you rinse out your conditioner, you want to rinse it with cool water. And the reason is the cool water will close your cuticle back up, and it'll trap some of that conditioner in your hair, and then it's going to make it healthier, and it's just going to help it out in general. And that's why a lot of blow dryers have a cool shot button on them. And if it doesn't, it usually has a temperature setting that you can set it on cool. When you're blowing your hair dry, again, the heat of the blow dryer is opening up that cuticle. You're getting it dry, you're getting the moisture out, and everything. When it's almost dry, you should switch to cool. That's going to close that cuticle down, and it's going to make your hair smoother. It's going to help, combat those frizzies and stuff, because instead of being left open, you just blow it dry hot and then just turn your blow dryer off and leave it. You're leaving your hair like this. But you want to close that cuticle back up. It's super important. It's going to make your hair stronger, and it's just going to make it smoother in general. Now my fifth and final point is heat on the hair. Hair will burn at 451 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why if you notice on a lot of heat tools, they'll go up to 450 degrees. So if you crank it up the whole way, you're like dancing right on the line of burning your hair. So that's super important because, like I said, you're literally dancing on that line. Hair burns at 451 degrees. So if you crank it up the whole way, you're right on that line of that. And another point to point out is even if you turn it down, which I suggest you do, say you turn it down to 375. If you run that flat iron over your hair, would you ever notice, like, if you run it over your hair and it falls against your face, it's hot. It's, it's either warm or hot. You can feel it. Well, have you ever run your flat iron over it and then took it out and then ran it over the same piece again? If you think about it, you're running 375 degrees over your hair, and even if we'll say your hair is, as soon as you take it out, your hair itself is at 100 degrees, but you immediately take that flat iron and run it over that same piece again, your hair still holding on to that, we'll say 100 degrees from the swipe that you just did. Now you're sticking 375 right back on top of it, essentially bringing the temperature of your hair up to 475 degrees, which is over the burnt hairline. So that's what's causing so much damage on your hair from the heat appliances. You have to be so careful. You want to get good ones that you only have to do one swipe, and you want to watch the temperature on it. So these are some 5 really important facts that'll just help you with the health of your hair, and I hope you learned something. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to hear more tips and tricks and stuff like that, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.